The kettlebell is one of the best tools for training, but what happens if you don't have one? Don't worry, I have a solution for you. Here are the Kettlebell Simple and Sinister Bodyweight Alternative Program. So you may not always have a kettlebell with you, regardless where you are. If you're traveling, you can't carry the kettlebell on the plane with you. So if you're traveling for work, either on vacation or whatsoever, here would be your solution to training if you don't have a kettlebell. Here are the best 2 kettlebell alternative exercises. So in Pavel's book, Kettlebell Simple and Sinister, he has 2 exercises, the program minimum, the Kettlebell Swing and the Get Up. Here are your alternatives: squat jumps and the 4-point crawl. Now the Kettlebell Swing, it's really hard to find an exercise that rivals it, but it's a full body movement, it's explosive, and you're using your posterior chain. One exercise that's quite similar is a jump. So you could do broad jumps or standing in place as in a jump squat. Both the swing and the jump squat is an athletic move. You're using the strong hip hinge and you're exploding. The only difference is in the swing you're rooting down, and in the jump squat your feet are actually leaving the ground. So if you compare both of them side by side, they almost look identical. The caveat in the jump squat is you have to be able to land properly. Now a lot of folks they don't have the stability or strength in their ankles and their joints to do that. So make sure that you know how to land and you know how to absorb the impact in your body. The get up is also a full body movement. It's a slower exercise. It's not done fast like the swing or the jump squat. It uses your whole body as a unit to lift up a weight from the ground up and overhead. It's really a tremendous exercise. It's super functional. But what happens if you don't have any weights? The best alternative is the 4-point crawl. This is a contralateral movement similar to the get up. What's nice about it is it uses everything in your whole body simultaneously. You're using your strength, you're using your work capacity, and you're using what's called the X pattern to move in a contralateral fashion, like when you're walking, when you're running. Yeah, and it's very athletic and it carries over to other strength exercises. In a program I designed several years ago, we did an experimental program with only the 4-point crawl. So students did this only for 6 weeks and the results were amazing. Student had fat loss, they had muscle hypertrophy in their legs, in their upper body, in their shoulders. They had a stronger midsection. They were able to perform exercises that they weren't able before, such as pull-ups for reps and also the 1-arm push-up. So the 4-point crawl is amazing to do. It really works your whole body. The jump squat is also a fantastic drill that is comparable to the kettlebell swing if you don't have a kettlebell. A few tips for the jump squat. Use your arms, swing them back, and use your arms to jump up. Ideally try to jump and land at the same spot. When you land, go back into the hinge immediately to absorb the shock like a spring. For the 4-point crawl, you want it to be as strict as possible. So make sure you take small steps and maintain a neutral spine position. Your back and your hips shouldn't move. Your limbs should be doing all the maneuvering without back motion. So let's jump into the SNS Bodyweight Alternative Program. Here's how to plan out your 2 exercises. So here's the thing. You can do this as a replacement for your kettlebell training or a standalone program. And this is what we're going to get into here, that you could do this for at least several months on end and keep making progress. So let's look at the jump squat first. Before you begin, you will administer a test. You're going to test your jump squat for maximum repetitions. The goal is to do as many as possible within the 20 to 30 second window without slowing down. If, for example, you do your test and you feel like you're about to slow down, then you stop immediately. A good way to do this is to film yourself or have a partner watch you. So you're going to take that number that you reached and you're going to divide it by 2. It's going to be 50%. So if during your test, you reached a 12, for example, and this was your max reps, you're going to be doing sets of 6 reps. How many should you do in total? We're going to be doing more or less 100 repetitions in total, like in the Simple and Sinister program. But instead of doing 10 by 10, you're going to take your 50% and you're going to divide that by 100, and that's going to give you your total amount of sets. So 100 divided by 6, that gives you 16.66, and we're going to round it up to 17. So that means you're going to be doing 17 sets of 6 reps. How long should you rest? Don't worry about it. Don't pay attention to the clock so much. Do it timeless. So you want to be resting just long enough to maintain your power and maintain the quality of your reps. If you feel like you're starting to slow down, that means you need to rest longer. For the 4-point crawl, you're going to do another test. You're going to test your crawling capacity for as long as possible to give yourself a baseline. So let's say, for argument's sake, that you reached 60 seconds. This was your maximum, to where you could maintain your technique, your form, and it was quite challenging. So that's your 100%. So you're going to take 75% of your total, which it's 60 seconds, and it's going to equal to 45 seconds. So you're going to be doing 5 sets in total of your 75% work capacity. How long should you rest? Again, like the jump squats, rest as long as necessary to keep the quality high.